This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, ready to rock and roll. Shortened show today. Remember, we got Bison Media Zone starting at about a half hour. My conversation with Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Navarra is coming up at about 10:35. We had it last night on our airwaves. Our final game of the week was a good one between Davies and Horace. The Hawks end up getting the victory over Davies last night. Final score was 80-66. Horace now 13-1, one game clear of West Fargo with 2 games to go in the regular season, trying to clinch that number 1 spot for the EDC tournament, and then try to get 2 wins to get them to the state tournament. Great to have Kyle Cummings back with us, Horace boys basketball head coach, reflect on the game last night and now on the doorstep of the postseason. That you knew was going to be a battle. It's Davies. It goes without saying. Describe how your team played last night.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. We knew it was going to be a battle heading into it. It was a battle at their place, and it was a 1-point game.
Yeah.
And I've had this one circled for a while, to be honest. We try not to look past any games, but we knew that this one was going to probably have some playoff implications and everything. And just talking to the guys at this point in the year, we want them to play loose and play free, but we also need them to understand that there's pressure on them. I'm really proud of how we came out and played, but just reflecting on our performance, we had a really balanced performance last night. Owen Terrace is just on a heater right now. He led us with 22, but after that, Carter Evanson had 14, Aiden Green had 14. We had Caden Peterson with 11. Brett Livingston had 10. Ryder Myshak had 9. It was really balanced, and I'm just proud of our guys because it was a solid team win, and that's going to be really hard to stop down the stretch, I think, when you have that balanced scoring and maybe one guy's going to pick up the slack for somebody else. I think we're going to be really tough to stop.
Now, I don't know if Carter went so far to do the Joe Namath with Riley on the news last night to guarantee a victory, but you mentioned it. They got you by 1. I mean, how badly did the guy? You didn't even need to mention it to the guys how badly they wanted it, right?
Absolutely, and this era with the social media and stuff, I think that everything is promoted so much, myself included, with the team Twitter account and everything. And I think that between media, social media, it definitely had some, as the kids would say, the hype around it. And that's just the thing is, it's really fun when we start to pack the stands a little bit more and when there's a little bit more pressure. And that's, just the area of sports, it's at an all-time high, I think. And it's great.
And honestly, you guys, I don't know if internal pressure is the right way of how last year ended, and you can't avoid that, Kyle. And I know you've talked about it when we had you on the season got going. Just that's there, and that won't be there and won't leave until you guys make it. How much has that lingered throughout the year as well of what happened at the end of last season?
What happened at the end of last season, we lost those 2 at the Shack, and it's more so how we lost. When we're a young team and we had the lead at certain points throughout the game, and I'll take it. It was coaching as well. It was not getting our guys prepared to play with a lead. It's tough to, hit shots at the Shack sometimes because it's a bigger venue. It's not necessarily a shooter's gym and things like that. And so when the shots weren't falling, our default is to keep shooting, and we like to play fast and up tempo. And so this year, we've really had to learn how to slow the game down at times and to play with a lead. We don't need to take some of those quick threes, which I love playing that way, don't get me wrong, but that's really fun to do for 80% of the game. But even last night, we burned a timeout with 4 minutes and 48 seconds left, and we said, who's winning the game? We are. Here's what we need to do. I don't want a shot unless it's 5 seconds left on the shot clock kind of thing. And so getting the guys ready to play with a lead, and there was still growing pains like that throughout the year. We played Moorhead at Concordia, and we were up by 18 at one point, and we ended up blowing the lead, and we lost by 6. Davies, that other loss we had, we were up by 4 with under a minute to play, and we ended up losing. And so when we played against West Fargo High and Cheyenne, those were kind of those ones where we, just clinical, those things we practice where we have to burn the clock. We have to kind of be in those scenarios, and just to see it come full circle to get a win like that was awesome. And now I'm excited for winning in different ways down the stretch if we can. Sorry, that was a long answer.
That's a great answer on that. I'm intrigued, though, knowing full well what you have in front of you, that you have 2 games left, and there's basically no wiggle room. Describe that, knowing, okay, we have everything in front of us. We just got to take care of business over the next 2 games.
Yeah, we just need to control what we can control. We are on the road. We're going to Grand Forks on Friday. We go to North on Tuesday, and that's the end of the regular
Yeah.
season. And Grand Forks is improving. They've got shooters. We are going to focus on them, of course, but we really need to focus on our guys and what we can do to be successful. And everybody talks about the season as a marathon, and I think it's a sprint. Every week is a sprint. Every game is a sprint, just where we're at right now. And that's the thing is we're just sprinting to the finish line to have a strong finish to the season.
Kyle, how has Carter handled being the guy, knowing full well after what this summer committing and like late spring and announcing he's going to go play and now signed it at UND? There's a different deal that comes with that. How do you feel he's handled this year?
He's grown so much. When I took over the program, he was a sophomore, and he was, I don't even know, he was 5'9", 5'10", and now he's grown into a man. He's 6'3", and he's stronger. Like physically, he's changed a lot, and I would say he's grown a lot between his junior and senior year, where now that he's committed and he's signed, that pressure is, I think, lifted off of him. He still has pressure that he puts on himself, and that's the thing is, being one of the top players in the state, you'll always have that pressure, but just the way that he has been able to play a role in certain games has been awesome. And that's the growth that I just really I can't applaud him enough on that, because earlier in the year, he was having some 40-point games, Dom. And then last night he had 14. And that's the thing is, last night he was a screener, he was a distributor, because he commands so much attention that he was able to get his teammates open. And so that's what I'm really proud of, is just on any given night, he could go for 40 or he could go for 14, like I said. And so that's been the part that I'm really impressed with, with him.
Sorry, I had a couple. No, you're right. I had a couple emails came in that found out you were going to be on the show, because you have a couple players that Bison football fans may be interested in that got offered scholarships to play football, but they are pretty good basketball players, Aiden Green and Brett Livingston. Give us the lowdown on each of these guys, and are they better at basketball, football? What, you've seen them both. Give us the lowdown here.
That is a trap question, Dom. I don't know, because I think Harvey McMahon would be on the show and he'd fight me over them as well. They are definitely two of the top dual sport athletes in the area. And I think that this is going to be one of those things where they get to choose what they want to do. Both Brett and Aiden, for us, like I was talking about Carter, they will play a role on certain nights. Aiden this year, he has had a couple of really impressive games, just taking over, kind of being that closer where we put the ball in his hands, and he just will go on I'll blink, and he went on an 8-0 run on his own. Brett, I mean, you've seen some of the highlight reel dunks that he puts on, and that's the thing is, I think maybe that really helped with the football recruiting. Is I'm sure the coach Polisek watches the nightly news, and he maybe sees that and says, I got to go talk to this kid, just because what could he do on the football field? But I think that it's up to them. The sky's the limit. If they want to be college football players, they will be college football players. If they decide they want to play college basketball, then I think that is definitely in the realm of possibility as well too. It's just kind of whatever eggs they want to put in the basket,
How good is it they play both? Because this day and age, you and I have talked about it. I know you coach AAU as well, that guys get specialized. We're going to do one, that you still have guys that are playing both at a high level.
Yeah, and I love basketball. I love AAU basketball, but I just think that it's the different coaching, the different sports that are going to just help these kids down the road, not only in athletics, but in life as well. I think that Coach McMahon and we get along great. We work together in the summer in the weight room, and we laugh and we joke. But I think that as long as they're hearing similar messages from different voices, that's going to really help these kids as a whole, not just as an athlete.
So here we go. You mentioned we got a couple weeks left. You played a couple teams out west. You played Minot, you played Dickinson. We've seen Century and Bismarck are having really good years. Would you have liked the chance to maybe play a couple more WDA teams to get, so it's not fresh when you get to state?
That's tough. Yes and no. I really liked our non-conference schedule this year, because earlier on when I was on the show earlier this year, I talked about, we played on 3 college courts. And I think when the goal is to get to the state tournament for us specifically this year, I've got guys talking about winning the whole thing, that's great, but I just want to get there, Dom. I feel like I have to get that monkey off my back. But, playing at those college venues was really good for us, I think, and that's something we can lean on come tournament time. Now, say we make the state tournament? Do I maybe wish we could have played a Bismarck High or maybe even a Mandan just so we're a little more familiar? Yes, probably. And so I guess I don't know how to answer that one. I don't see it hurting us. I don't see it helping us either. So
that's the level of basketball right now around the state. You evaluate these guys. You see them in the summer. How good is the hoops right now going?
It's, between the top 4 teams in the East, the top 4 teams out West, it's a dogfight every night. And I think that the best thing that happened was the 3-class system. I, wake up sweating in the middle of the night thinking about, we've got Red River on Friday, and that's not going to be a cakewalk. They're playing well. And I think that just the talent is at an all-time high. Some of that comes with the specialization, but I'm hoping that we can keep the talent going, just not only in the Metro or at Horace, but just in the state as a whole, and just kind of put North Dakota basketball on the map.
All right, so now that you coach the Horace girls, and now you coach the Horace boys, what has developed into the chief rival? I thought it was going to be Cheyenne. Is it Davies? Is it West Fargo? Is it somebody off? Who's now number 1?
Number 1, and I love him because I was on his staff, but I get fired up for the Red River games just because maybe that's because I know Kirby really well. And I was on his staff for 3 years, so maybe that's just me thing. But no, I think that we're still kind of second fiddle between West Fargo and Cheyenne. Okay. We call those rivalry games, but I watched the last one with the boys, and it's not quite to that level yet. So maybe we'll get there. We need a 4th West Fargo school to pop up. We need a 4th school, and that'll be our rival.
Well, you might not be far off from that happening, right? Holy cow!
I bet it's in 6 years or less if I had to guess.
Holy cow. You mentioned here, before I let you go, down the stretch run, how is this for you now, knowing, okay, the end goal's in sight? Like, you got through the dog days of, mid-January, early February. Now it's real. Describe that, how I don't know, not you get re-energized, but like, okay, here it is, guys. We've only got a couple weeks left in our season now.
You hit it on the head, too, just with the being re-energized. We had, I don't want to call it a bye week. We played Tuesday, but we didn't play Friday. Yeah. And, that was kind of our last little break. That was right before we played Grand Forks Central at our place. But we went bowling on that Friday, and that was kind of like the finish line is in sight. This is going to be kind of our last little team bonding that we can do before playoffs. But I think that now that we're here, I don't want to see it come to an end. You mentioned the dog days. It's dark when we go to school. It's dark when we leave practice. But I'm not ready to stop working with these guys yet. And so I want to make sure that we can go on this run and that we just make the most of our time together.
It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for the time. Congrats on the big win. And I know we'll be catching up here in the not too distant future, okay?
Thanks for the time, Dom. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, bud. There he goes. Kyle Cummings joining us, head coach of the Horace boys, as they got a big win over Davies. Now with a 1-game lead with 2 games to go in the EDC race. We got some breaking news email to share here, so let's take our last break now because I want to set us some time to talk about that when we come back and wrap up the show because we got what to watch to wrap up in Bison Media Zone. So we'll take our final break. Some UND news to share on a snowy Wednesday morning. Back after this.